All right, everybody, thank you for staying, and welcome to Ethereum Staking, how to become a validator. Before we start, the workshop will be with two parts. The first one will be explanation a little bit about proof of work, then we will move to proof of stake, set up proof of stake, talk about a little bit about how it's working. And the second part will be set up nodes, create a validator, and participate in the staking, Ethereum staking. Right, so become a validator. I took Vitalik's latest quote from just last week after the merge. I think this is the biggest thing that people talk about when we're talking about Ethereum staking, and we will also touch about it following the presentation. All right, as I said, we're going to talk about proof of work, a little bit really high overview, just to straight a line, and then move into proof of stake, Ethereum 2.0, how to become a validator, and then we'll take a part in the SSV network, what we are building on Ethereum staking. Right, so proof of work. So when we're talking about proof of work, we are talking about miners, right? So today miners requirement, if you want to become a miner, you need two things, basically. You need a fully synced Ethereum 1, and you need a miner rig. It's usually CPU, GPU, there's a couple of other types, so it's usually running miner algorithm, and that's it basically. You need those two things, and you start mining. When we're talking about miners, you can see my amazing animation here. So we're talking about difficulty. We have three miners running, and they're racing each other in order to propose the next block, right? And what they are basically doing, they are guessing the next hash, the correct hash, sorry. And the one that is the first to guess it will propose the block and get the reward. In order to do that, we need very powerful machines because there's a big competition, and that's the current status of proof of work. Really, I overview and on a nutshell. By the way, I forgot to tell at the beginning, feel free to ask questions after each slide maybe. I will give you time because I believe in let's create some discussion because that's, for me, it's the best approach. All right, so proof of work is the past, so what's now, right? Proof of stake, we just last week, we passed the merge. Ethereum went from proof of work to proof of stake, and yeah, now this is the future and the current case. All right, so what is proof of stake? No more miners, welcome validators. Validators are the new miners. But as you can see, there's more requirements, right? Same as the miner, we need a fully synced Ethereum 1 node. We need also a fully synced Ethereum 2 node, a beacon chain. It's called a beacon chain. Up until the merge, include the merge, we used to, those two networks, blockchains runs in parallel, right? Everybody used Ethereum 1, but Ethereum 2 worked in parallel to prepare for the merge. Today, after the merge, are really working together. The third requirement is the validator client. I can compare it maybe to the miner rig. This is the part that's doing the job, right? This is the one that's running and doing the duties. And the last thing is the minimum of 32 ETH. So basically, you stake your 32 ETH in order to become a validator. Any question, by the way? Not a lot of info, so I think no. All right, so we talked about that we need a fully synced Ethereum 1, a fully synced Ethereum 2, right? In those nodes, we have different clients. And what are those clients? Those clients are basically an implementation of Ethereum Foundation protocol. They released a protocol to build upon it. And so there are different companies that implemented these specific protocols. One for Ethereum 1 and the second Ethereum 2 Beacon chain. The question is why we need those things, right? Why we need different clients. Those clients are having different languages, Go, Lang, maybe even also other languages like Java and so on. Today, everyone knows what is the percentage of views of, for example, the GETH client node in the overall, in global. How many using the specific client? No one? Right, so currently it's around 74% using the specific client. That means that in case there is a bug, there is an issue, and those nodes running and using GETH client will fail, Ethereum probably not gonna work, right? So we are Ethereum pushing hard in order to diverse different clients, to not use the only one, but use other ones. Anyone knows about Prism in Ethereum 2? How many using that? The percentage? All right. So around 42%. By the way, not long ago, it was around 60%, and Ethereum Foundation and the community worked hard in order for people to choose different clients, in order to diverse between all of those. Cool. Right, so when we're talking about Beacon chain, I thought it's important for understand how it works. We all probably knows about blocks in Ethereum 1, right? We have blockchains, we have block after block, including the data. And in Beacon chains, it's a little bit different. We have two things. We have epochs and we have slots. Those are basically time frames. We can see that we have epoch 1, it's around 6.4 minutes. Every epoch, and inside every epoch we have 32 slots. So if we start on epoch 1, we have slot 1, each slot is 12 seconds, and we continue until 32 slots, and then move into the next epoch. And it starts from 32 and so on. You can see it in the screen. I want to show you I just want to show you how it looks like. This is the Beconcha. It's Explorer for Ethereum 2. If you know, familiar with Etherscan, it's the same idea. We can see that this is the current epoch we are currently on. This is the current slot, and you can see in real time it's incremental every slot. For example, just want to show you. This is specific epoch. We have 30 slots. We are work in progress, scheduled for the next slot. All right, so we have a basic understanding on what are slots, epochs in a nutshell. Let's talk about the validators, what the validator is doing, what their duties are, and the rewards, right? That's how you get in rewards for a job. So there are a couple of different duties type. I will talk about those common too. So if you're talking about a tester duty, this duty will happen every epoch. So if you're going back, I will show you first validator. All right, so this is it's a screen that's showing validator info. And what I want to show you is that this is the tester duty type, right? It's happened every epoch. You see it's incremental, 89, 90, 91, and so on. This validator is performing well, is doing his job, and we can see the reward. So daily, it's get around 0.003 ETH every day. And then we can see those spikes. So the next thing, the next duty is the block propose. By the way, it's randomly chosen. I'm running a validator myself, so it's happened once a month, something like that. And this is where the big money is. So you can see the big spike. So this validator got two block proposal a day ago and 7 days ago, and you can see it in the chart. And it's around 10 more revenue, more income. The other two duties are aggregator and sync committee, less common. By the way, also you will earn more money, more ETH on when get this duty to do this duty. Any questions, guys? Any questions? Cool. All right, so we talked about how you get in reward, what you need to do as a validator. You have your job every epoch or randomly other types. How we prevent validators from misbehave in the protocol, right? We don't want validator to not work. We want them to work 24/7 all the time. We want them to not be malicious, right? If someone is trying to do something not as should in the network, you want to avoid that. So we have two kinds we have a set of rules that the protocol worked with, and if you're not following those rules, you will get a penalty. So the first thing is the penalty. This is usually for something small, like you had to do a job, you had to do a duty, but you didn't do that, right? Your node was down, your validator was any other issue we're familiar with, so you get penalty. The penalty is equal to the reward you should have got. These are the small penalties in order for validators to work every time, work 24/7. The other type is slashing. Slashing is a penalty when a validator tries to do something like changing the history of the blockchain. If I'm a validator and I'm saying, hey, I don't have 1 Ether, I have 100 Ether, right? It's not the real history, it's not the real status of the blockchain. So in that case, my validator will get slashed. My validator will get a big fine. By the way, the fine is related to the amount of validator that's doing bad work on the same time. So if I have a lot of validators trying to do something malicious, they will get a really big fine. They will get cut off more than it, or it depends on the amount, but a big chunk of their money will be lost. Also, not only fine, they will get freeze. So we'll stop working, and we'll get also the penalties for not doing their job, right? And at the end, after X period of time, they will just be exit and stop working. So you don't want to be slashed, and that's the purpose, to avoid those type of issues. All right, so I'm hope that if you didn't understand, you have some idea of how Validator works and how it's performing. Let's talk about how you create a validator, right? So in a short time, I will show you how it's done in code, of course, with the CLI, but in general, you will create yourself a deposit data, send the 32 ETH to a smart contract. By the way, it's not lost, right? You stake your ETH, and it's still yours, but that gives you the ability to become a validator. In the process of the CLI, you're creating two keys. We are used to have two keys, public key and private key in the Ethereum 1, right? The public key is the address, and the private key is the one that allows you to do transactions and so on. So in Validator, we have two types of keys. We have the signing key and we have the withdrawal key. Today, once you become a validator and you deposit a 32 ETH, you can't withdraw it. You still can withdraw it. It's going to be in the future with the next fork or merge, and up until then, your ETH is still staked and you can't withdraw them. So we can put it aside. It's a key with a public and a private key. The signing key is the most important for now. The signing key allows you to do your job as a validator, attest, propose blocks, aggregate, and all those kind of stuff. So this key should be in a hot wallet. It should be 24/7 available and work all the time, because if not, you get penalties, right? So this is the basic struct of the keys and what you need to know as a validator. All right. a small summary between proof of work or proof of stake. If we start with proof of work, you don't need an initial ETH to start, right? You can start without an ETH. It's relatively easy to set up. You need only fully synced node, and you need a mining rig. The bad side is that it consumes a lot of energy and high entry bar. So today it's very hard to get money, to get it by mining. You need initial cap, very high initial cap in order to buy expensive gear. So it's not for everyone. If we're talking about proof of stake, you gotta have 32 ETH. It's not small money, but it's not like buying a mining rig. The second thing is that you're required to run 2 nodes and one client. I put a comment beside it because we have solution today for that issue. We're gonna talk about it later, but you don't have to run all those things by yourself. The last 2 things is reduced 0.2% of global usage. It's a lot. That's post-merge, right? When Ethereum moved to, as the quote at the beginning, Ethereum moved to proof of stake, the usage is reduced significantly. And the last thing is everyone can participate with a steady 32 ETH. Again, it's not a small amount of money, but it's something that we can do. If you're in the crypto space, so for sure. All right, so we talked about the moving from proof of work to proof of stake. What are the new possibilities that we are opening to us, right? We have a lot of different things as a developers that we can think of and develop and create. So we have the non-custodial, how you keep your keys, right? You need your keys to be available 24/7. How you do it? You need it all that on you. You want to give it to someone else. There's a risk there. You have pools. You have node providers, infrastructure provider, SSV that we're gonna talk at the end. But in general, there's a lot of new opportunities open for us as developers and in general. All right. Any questions, guys? Something? All right. So I think everything okay. Let's start with more the workshop itself. All right. I don't know. Some of you with the computers trying to do with me with that. All right, so semi-workshop, let's do it ourselves. If you want, you have the QR code with the link to what I'm using. So we have ETH Docker. This is our repo that a couple of guys from the community created by themselves. It's an open source, of course, and it allows you to set up nodes in really easy way. You can do it by yourself. We did it, but it's more complex. And today we have great solutions for that. So I thought maybe to show you a better way, an easy way to give you a more nice interest. All right, so I will show you a little bit. I just want to show you, you clone the Git, the repo, and I will show you this here. 1 second. Sorry, need to get the access to the VPN. We have a Wi-Fi here, maybe? Yeah. עם הפלאפון זה לא... מה זה הווי-פיי? מה הווי-פיי?
ול גדולה, זוהר. זוהר האוס. ול גדולה, ול קטנה, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
תודה. All right. Cool. Sorry for the delay. All right, so I cloned the project, the ETH Docker, and what I want, just a simple config. Sorry. So you can choose a different client. We talked about at the beginning, right? We have a different client. Sorry, this is the network. So we will choose the testnet and which nodes we want to run, right? We have the Ethereum 1, the consensus layer execution of Validator client. For the sake of diversity, I will choose, for example, Teco and Bezo, all right? We will skip MevBoost for now. This is not real it, it's go early. By the way, the address is for the fee recipient. After the merge, as a validator, I get two types of reward, right? I'm getting a reward minting one from the protocol, and the second one I'm getting from the fees, from the transactions, and they got to another contract, another address, and this is the one. And graffiti is when you propose a block, you can draw some, write whatever you want, so it's ICC. And now it's building it's using Docker files, Docker Compose. I just want to show you a small one. This is a Docker Compose YAML for Ethereum 1, GETH, for example. So it's quite easy, especially with Docker Compose. You just need to put your ports, specific, it's working on peer-to-peer, so you need the configuration for peers and stuff like that, authentication, but not something special. This is more complex because of the repo that I'm using. Same goes for Ethereum 2 node. All right, so it's fetching the image for now. Until it runs, we can continue to the next phase, creating a validator. So Ethereum Foundation has a launchpad, really easy to use. Make sure that you are on the right network type. So we are working on Go Early, it's the testnet, not the main one. A couple of checklists, I will skip them quickly. By the way, if you want to become a validator and stake your own, read it, follow the rules. It's not a small amount of money. We'll choose the clients that I'm using. All right, so I want to create one validator, 32-it. I'm on a Mac, just want to show you the process. Sorry, anyone? I didn't understand. What do you mean? Oh, yeah. So you need the early. It's tokens for the testnet specifically. It's a different token from the mainnet. So you can ask him, by the way, from there's different Discord channel that you can ask, and they will probably send you some go early. Right. So I will download the repo. Sorry. I'm using the CLI. Need some permissions. Sorry. So you have a CLI execution. All right. And if I'm going back, that really gives you which command you need to run. It's very easy. I will copy it, but basically you created a new mnemonic and the number of validator and the chain. So we are working on testnet, one validator. All right. Give you higher permission. Cool. All right, so the default is English. I will continue. You're choosing a password for to secure your validators, and we'll give some 1 to 8 just for the test. All right, so you will receive a mnemonic. You're familiar with that from Ethereum 1. I'm saving it. By the way, when you do it on mainnet, of course, pay attention. You need to back up your mnemonic just in case. So I'm doing it very quick now, but when mainnet, take it more seriously. All right, so it's creating a key store and a deposit file, and it's done. I've created the keys. I have now keys for my validator. I have a key store, and I have a deposit data. The deposit data we'll use to deposit the 32-it. We now are going back there. Sorry. All right, so make sure that you keep your mnemonic. Upload my deposit data. And I want now to send my 32-it. Continue with MetaMask specifically for now. All right, checking network balance. I have enough. One validator. And I'm sending the transaction. So the process will take, depend on the amount of user that trying to create a validator, but it could take a couple of days. There's some process, deposit should get confirmation, then it's going to the beacon chain and get into a pool, and there is X amount of time it's gonna take to be active. I just want to show you. So this is the newly validator that we created. This is the public key, but because the deposit didn't add enough confirmation, it's not showing. It will show in the later on. All right, so let's get back one moment for the nodes. The internet is not so good, so it will take time. All right. All right, anyway, we'll skip it. In general, it will be pulling the image, and in one command, I will start the nodes. They will looking for peers, start syncing. Today we have different type of syncing, so it could be quite fast than used to be. And you will have a fully nodes running, and you can use them to run your validator. Now that we have a validator, I will use a pre-made validator that already deposited and active on Beacon chain. For the example, so by the way, I want to show you, this is the key store. We have the public key here, just to, if I'm looking for this validator, sorry. All right, so this is my validator. It's not running now. You see that is missing duties. He's missing his duties. You also can see that the balance is less than 32. Why? Because I'm not working there. The validator is not working, so he's lose money. What we're gonna do here is now we're gonna bring up a validator client with our nodes because they are full sync. I can't use the one that is not synced, and it will start working. Sorry, I had to abort it. All right. So I pre-made the validator client. I want to show you. Right. So import keys, basically what I want to do is start my client, ETH app, ETHD app.
Let's leave some time for the questions, so we have to move to the panel in the next day.
All right. Any questions, guys? All right, cool. So I will skip to the end. All right. Just one last thing I want to show. So basically, the validator is running. All right. I will continue with the last thing. I want to show you just how it's working. So I will register in SSV because that's the fastest thing that will goes. Right, so what I want to do is run a new validator. I want to import my own. I have a key store. One second. Right, I have my key store. I have a password. It's a simple one. All right, cool. So what I want to do is choose, we talked about earlier that there is solutions for running those nodes, right? I can use different kind of providers, and what we are doing here, we are choosing our own operators. We're splitting our keys into 4 and choosing operators to run those ETH1, ETH2, and validator kinds for us. Do it really quickly. Choose 4. Make sure we are not running in 2 places. Right, so I made the transaction, add to the contract. That's how the SSV is working. It gives you infrastructure to run your own validator without any need to run those nodes. The internet is not with me today. All right, in the meantime, sorry for the missing part. I really want to show you how the logs looks when you sync your nodes, how the validator clients works. Didn't work for me yet today. So good. I'm really hoping if you didn't have an idea on Validator and the general idea behind it, you do now. Any question last time? All right. Yeah.